Welcome back. Have you ever wanted a cute printed pillowcase and not the boring solid ones from the store? Well, we're going to create one today, and I'm going to show you how simple it is to dress up a bed using a printed pillowcase. Let me show you the pieces that you will need to create this project. You're going to want some cotton material. Go ahead and pre-wash your fabric so that the shrinkage happens before you start cutting. But this is a trim. This is optional. It's not something that you have to have. So this is a trim that's going to go near the band. And if you decide to have the trim, you're going to want to cut it 2.5 inches wide right here, okay, by 40 inches long, okay? Nice long piece, okay? So that's your trim. Then you're going to want your band piece. That band piece is the piece that runs along the side opening of your pillowcase, okay? So you want your band piece to be 10 inches wide, again, okay, by 40 inches long here, okay? Again, 40 inches, all right? Lastly, you want your main body, okay? And this is going to depend on what size you want to do. Today, we are going to do a queen size pillowcase, and we are going to cut this piece 27 inches by 40 inches. Again, 27 inches by 40 inches. If you're going to do some other sizes, I'll leave those measurements in the description, okay? Now I'm going to show you how to cut your main body piece because it's going to depend on the print on your fabric. If your fabric is directional, you are going to cut your fabric a little bit differently than you would if it was non-directional, okay? So if you see right here, this is non-directional. So I'm going to lay this out so that you can see how to cut it. When you are cutting your main body piece, your fabric is normally going to come just like so. If it's folded, you have an edge right here, which is your selvage edge, okay? That is the finished edge of your fabric. A lot of times you'll see, writing on that edge. Let me show you. It's a little upside down. There you go. You'll see some writing on that edge. Sometimes you'll see the color palette that is in the print. But anyhow, if your fabric is non-directional, like this particular print is, what you want to do is you want to cut your sizing where you are going to be 27 inches flowing this way, which is going to run parallel to your selvage edge, 27 inches this way, and you're going to go 40 inches this way, okay? Again, if your fabric is non-directional, that means your print is not going one particular way. It's all over the place like these stars are. Cut 27 inches this way, okay, by 40 inches this way. If your fabric is directional, that means your print is only going one way. What you want to do is you're going to cut your fabric where the 40-inch width is going to go parallel to the selvage edge, okay? 40 inches will be cut this way. So you'll have about 1.25 yards that you'll need to purchase. And then the 27 inches will be cut this direction. And that's going to run perpendicular to that selvage edge. Okay? So that's if your fabric is a directional print. All right, our main body fabric is cut. So just to reiterate, I want to make sure that we're clear. My fabric is folded right now. So this is my folded side right here. And so going across here, because this is a non-directional print, across here, opposite of the fold, I should be 27 inches along, okay? And then my side over here, if I open it up, should be 40 inches going all the way across, okay? So that's our main body on a non-directional print. All right, now what we're gonna do is take our trim over to the iron and we are gonna fold it in half, okay? We're gonna press it in half with our iron. Now it's time to put all of our pieces together. You first want to start with your band, okay? If this was a print where it was just printed on one side, you would want that band pretty side to be facing up. So that right side facing up, okay? You're going to open it up and lay it out completely. Okay? Then you're going to take your trim. This is only optional if you're using a trim. Take your trim and we're going to line up the raw edge of the trim, not the fold, but the raw edge of the trim to the top of our band. All right, so you see that in place? Now we are going to take our body, the main body. We're going to open it up. And we want to turn it over so that our print is going to be facing down. And again, we're going to take that raw edge and line it up with the top portion of our band. So we've got right side to right side. This is going to look so good. All right, so you should have all three pieces together now. Okay, all three of our pieces are together now. And what I like to do is take some pattern weights to kind of help hold that fabric while we do our next step. So pattern weights are these little guys. They look like little bean bags. And so I take them just to hold the fabric, the three pieces together in place. All right. What you're going to do now is you're going to take the bottom of your pillowcase, okay? And we are going to start to roll it towards the top, all right? This is great if you got somebody else that's extra in your house that can give you an extra hand. If not, this is definitely doable by yourself. So I'm going to show you how this works. So if you start, you want to start to make a tiny roll. Okay, see how I'm starting to turn it, and I'm making a tiny roll, and you're just going to keep rolling it. I'm using both my hands and just keep rolling it. And we're gonna roll this up till we get halfway up the band. Okay, so I'm about halfway up the band. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna slide this forward a little bit so you can see. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take the band, roll it over the top. Did you see that? This is how it's laying right now. We're gonna take the band, roll it over the top, matching where our bean bags are, matching that top cut edge, okay? And we're gonna pin all the way across. Let me grab my pins. So I'm gonna move these bean bags out of the way. So what you should have here is your one side of your band, having your body piece, your trim, and the other side of your band. All those pieces together, and we're gonna pin straight across. So now we are going to take this to the machine, and we are going to stitch straight across. We want to make sure we don't catch our inside roll, okay? So that's why we only went up halfway. Line your fabric up with the edge of the presser foot, okay? We are going to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance, which means we are coming in a 1/2 inch from the edge, and we're going to stitch all the way down. Don't forget to reverse in the beginning and at the end. When you get to the end, make sure you reverse. Now you should have a long tube that looks just like this, okay? Like a little, I don't know, cocoon. We are gonna now pull our body out of our cocoon, if you will. So just grab the inside and keep pulling. All right, and if you notice, look at that. Oh my gosh, I love that. If you notice, we've got our main body, our trim, and our band that's all nicely sandwiched together with no seams showing. Here's the back. Isn't that beautiful? No seams showing. All right. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called a French seam. I'm going to show you how to do a French seam so that we have no seam showing on this particular project. No raw edges or anything on this particular project. The first step in creating this French seam is we first need to iron our band and trim area, okay? So that we have our folds in there nicely. So go ahead and do that. The next step in creating our French seam is we are going to take our fabric and we're going to start up here where our band is, and we're going to bring it, folding it in half together with the other side of the band. This is wrong sides together, okay? A little opposite than what you're used to. So wrong sides together. Make sure that you line up your seams here, okay? That way, when you go to flip it, everything looks nice and lined up. Once you do that, go ahead and put a pin in it. All right. Then you can pin the band portion. And what you're going to do then is you're going to continue to travel down the sides and you're going to pin across the bottom, okay? We have everything pinned. We're now going to stitch down that raw side, that cut edge, and across the bottom. And we're only going to need 1/4 inch seam allowance, okay? We don't have to have a lot of seam allowance on this step. So go ahead and stitch. Don't forget to reverse in the beginning. Now, because I want to make sure my bands and trims all stay lined up, I keep that pin in place. I don't take it out. I just go over it slowly. Then I take it out. All right, we are nearing a corner where we're going to have to pivot. So as we get close, we're going to stop about 1/4 inch away from the bottom. We're going to let our needle stay down in our fabric. We'll lift up our presser foot and we're going to turn. And keep on going. And then go ahead and reverse at the end. Our pillowcase has now taken shape. It is looking really good. And we have one more thing to do as far as stitching goes. And what you want to do is, before we stitch, is to take our pillowcase. We're going to now turn it to the wrong side. Turn it to the wrong side and poke out your corners. If you've got some strings hanging, go ahead and cut them out of the way. All right, so make sure it's fully on the wrong side. Now, look at there. Doesn't that look good? Ah, it lined up really well. All right, now what you're gonna do is we're gonna stitch down that same side and that same bottom, but this time we want to make sure our seam is encased. Okay, so what you're going to do is just go ahead and pin again all the way down and across the bottom, just to make sure we have our seam sandwiched in there. Okay, and what I like to do is I like to double check and make sure my band is going to be lined up on the outside. So I pinch it from the inside, making sure he's lined up, and he is, okay? And then I pin it. And then keep on pinning. We are now going to do our last stitch, and that is we're going to stitch down the side again and across the bottom, and that's going to encase our seam that we just got through creating. So you want to make sure that your needle is to the left if you have a machine that will allow the needle to move to the left, so that you have like a 1/2 inch to 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. If not, just measure in a 1/2 inch to 3/8 of an inch. Either works fine. You're going to lower your presser foot down, keeping your fabric lined up with the edge of the presser foot, and we're going to stitch on down. Don't forget to reverse in the beginning and also at the end. And again, so I can try to keep my band lined up, fingers crossed. We're going to keep that pin in place and go across. Now, it's going to be a little thicker there, so remember, don't push. Just pull from behind, okay? Once you get across it, you can take it out. All right, we're getting close to that corner again, okay? And so what you want to do is go on down, and we're going to stop about a 1/2 inch from that edge. And then we're going to turn the corner, okay? Let's see if that's the right placement. Look at that, nailed it. So keep that needle down and then turn, okay? And keep on going. So now your inside should look like this, okay? And if you can see, you don't see any raw edges on the inside. You see that? Now let's turn it to the right side. The big reveal. Poke out your corner there. I don't know why that string just wants to hang on. All right, poke all your corners out. And oh my goodness, look at this. Y'all, look at this. Look at that. Ah! All right. That is our pillowcase. That is really good. And now I gotta create a pillow form so I can stuff it. I enjoyed making this with you all. And I hope that you like and subscribe our videos so that we can continue to grow and people who want to learn can continue to see this content. So thanks so much for watching and growing with me. I appreciate you. See you next time on our next project.